Good morning, everyone. In the last session, we are trying to discuss about the one of the important implementation class of this particular list interface here. So yesterday we discussed about the in the last session we discussed about the important concept called add method. So this add method, how we implemented, we identified, and later we discuss about the this particular add method. So now, so what exactly this particular add method is taking here? So this add method now it is taking the two parameters. The first parameter is playing as an index role. The second parameter, original object here. Okay, so we identified with this current example how this particular index related add method, how it is implemented. So whenever I'm trying to give this particular one value, now what happens internally? It will throw an exception because initially it needs to start with a zero index location. So once it is start with a zero index location, and later you can add so you can add one index location and you can change the value. So what is the value we can change it? Now if you observe carefully, initially I come up with the XYZ. Now later I'm trying to define with the ABC. Now you can see the same example I'm trying to debug one more time. So to understand very clear about this particular add method. Now here you can see system.out.println is empty method as well as size method we are printing. Now what are the default sizes? What are the default sizes? 0 and is currently the whatever the array list we are trying to inserting, it is an empty array list here. Because of this, now it is trying to return true. Now after this, what I'm doing is I'm calling this particular add method. Now what exactly this add method is doing is, now initially whenever we are trying to inserting, before inserting this particular array list, now we are checking the index here. So something like a range check for this particular add purpose. So now what we are doing is we are trying to check this particular index. Now how we are trying to check here? Now if you see this, here we are providing the index. Now this is a index number. Now whether this particular index number is available within this particular size or not. Within this particular size or not. Now what we are doing is if we give the greater than the size, now what happens internally? It is going to throw an exception. Along with this, now if we are trying to provide this particular index value less than this particular size, so in that case also, now we'll get an exception here. Now currently, how many records we are having? What is the default capacity of this particular array list here? So 0 to 9. Okay, so 0 to 9. Now these are the capacity we are having right now. Now you can see this is a 0, its end with is 9. Now observe carefully here what you need to understand. Another important concept here, we created, this is the capacity. Currently capacity is 10 here, but how many elements we inserted as of now? No, as of now we did not inserted any element. So this is the first element we are trying to inserting. Now once once first record is inserted, then the size will become 1. Then the size become 1. Now currently what happening is, whatever the capacity we created, but we did not inserted any record. So what is the size currently? 0. Currently the size is 0 we are getting. Now whenever we are getting the size is 0, what we are checking is, so if you are providing the index, so greater than the size here. Currently size is 0. For example, if you provide 1 here, the index if you provide 1, now what happens internally? So it is going to be satisfied. Now why it is satisfying? Basically, as of now we did not inserted any record into this particular capacity, but how we are going to make greater than the size here. Getting the point? This is very important here. So it should start with the 0 only, because this is the first record we are trying to inserting. Okay, now because of this condition is not satisfying it, so this particular exception we are not going to get here. Now so once you come out of this, we are not getting any exception. Now we are checking here. Now so as what is the size currently we are having? 0. Now I'm initializing into this particular s variable, and the same thing, whatever the element data we are having. Now if you see, this element data will contain the null values. All elements are null. All elements are null. If you observe carefully the capacity, how much you will get it here? Element data dot length here. Now whenever I'm trying to print this, Okay, so now here you can see this dot element data dot length. Now what we are getting basically here you can see the result we are getting as a 20. Now what you understand here? What you understand here? The default capacity we are having currently 20, but capacity we are having 20, but we did not insert any record as of now. Okay, the size become 0. So based on the insertion, based on the object how we are going to insert here, based on that these records are going to be inserted here. Okay, now here you can see element data equals to this particular length I'm checking. Now after this I'm doing the array copy here. So this particular copy what it will do, from this particular source array it will try to push into this particular destination, but currently we don't have any data. Now so this is the first record we are inserting, where we are inserting this particular line number 522. This particular section of code it will give you the information about the insertion. Okay, now what is the index here? Index is 0. What is the value we are inserting? XYZ. Now what you understand here, in this particular x0 index location we are inserting XYZ value. Now what is the size now? So size will start from 1. Okay, now this is the size related concept. Okay, the above one, so this particular section will give you the size related, and this below section it will give you the index related. Indexes. So index will start from 0, size will start from. Okay, so these are the differences we need to understand. Now after this what I am doing is, this is the line 522, we are inserting the value. After this here you can see size s plus 1. Currently s value how much? 0. Now what I'm doing here, I'm trying to adding the 1 value here. So it will become, size will become 1. Now you can see size is now 1 here. Now this is the way of inserting. Now second value. Now you can see index 1 here. Index 1, and I'm giving the ABC. Now what happened? Again we'll go for this particular same add method. We'll check this particular range. Now currently what is the index we are having? 1. Now what is the size we are having? 1. So 1 greater than 1, it will not satisfy. When it will satisfy, basically, it will satisfy greater than or equals to 1. 1 greater than or equals to 1, or 1 less than or equals to 1. These two conditions are going to be satisfied, but this particular condition will not satisfy. So this is very important, we need to understand here. Now because of this, so again, we are not throwing any exception here. Here, we are not throwing any exception here. Now simply, this particular condition is trying to return as a false here. After this, we are coming back here. Once the range check is completed, we are doing this particular insertion. Now what is the index here? 1. In the first index location, what is the value we are inserting? ABC. Now what you are going to understand here? This is ABC, and this is the index location called 1 here. Okay, now here, after this, what you need to understand here, size here. So earlier, already we inserted one record. So that is become 1. Now, just now we inserted one more record. So this will become 2 here. Now, if you see, size we are having 2. Okay. So here, if you see, 192. 192 already we inserted. But indexes, if you see, 0 and 1. 0 and 1. Now, if you understand here, under this particular element data, if I open this element data, now 0 position XYZ, in the 1 position we are having ABC. Now whatever the diagram we created, so this diagram also same here. So in the 0 XYZ, in the 1 ABC. Okay, so this is what we need to understand here. Now after this, what I am doing here, I am trying to print the is empty as well as size here. Now if you see, the is empty, it is returning false. The size we are getting currently as a 2. Okay, initially is empty true, size is 0, but after inserting 2 records, now what we are getting, the size is become 2, and is empty method, it is trying to return as a false because this contains some records here. So this is what we need to understand. Now another important concept here, now if you, what happens, for example, one more record I'm having. Okay, one more add method I'm calling it, but in place of this particular one, okay, I'm keeping as it is this particular index 1, but in place of ABC, something like I want to give 1, 2, 3. Something like 1, 2, 3. Now here if you observe carefully, how many times we are calling add method? 3 times we are calling. Now what is the size we are going to expect here? 3. Because, so whenever this method is calling 3 times, now every time we are trying to inserting new record in the proper position. So whenever we are doing, index is same. Already line number 14 we are doing the same index, that is called 1. In the line number 15 also we are doing the same index, that is called 1. Now here what happens carefully if you observe, now this particular object, the ABC, now it is going to replace with this particular 1, 2, 3 here. Okay. Now we'll see how it is going to be replaced here. How it is going to be replaced here. Now again I'm trying to run the same example. So this add method we observe, this add method also we observe. Now the third add method, now I'm trying to debug the same application. Now if you see, now index is 1. What about the size is? Size is also 1 here. Okay. Size is also basically 1 here. Now both are, again it is not satisfying. Now we are coming out of this. It is not going to throw any exception. After this, now here what you need to understand here, index location is 1. Now if you see here, under this already we are having 0, 1, 2. Okay. So 0, 1, 2. Now what you observe carefully here, if you observe carefully, XYZ and ABC we are having. But how we are getting these two ABCs here? How we are getting these two ABC? If you go to this particular collection list, how many times we are having? One time ABC. So one time XYZ. So this is the third time we are trying to print something like 1, 2, 3 here. Now if you see, what is the element value we are having? 1, 2, 3. What is the index location? 1. But if you see, in the current one index location, what is the value we are having? So this is the first index location. Currently, what is the value we are having? ABC. Now, whenever I'm coming out of this, whenever I'm coming 522 line number, okay. So now, what you need to understand carefully here, if you see, this is the element data we are having. Okay. This is the basically element data. Now, if you see this, in the first index location, what is the value now it is replacing here? What is the value is now replacing here? In the first index location, the value is now replaced with 1, 2, 3. Now value is replaced. Earlier, what is the value we have? Something like ABC. So what is the size we are having? Currently 3. Currently 3. Getting the point? So this is very important we need to understand here. Okay. So this is very important section we need to understand. Now what you observe carefully, if you print this, it is trying to return as a 3. The size is trying to return as a 3 here. The last one, line number 17 method. Now, so this is the line number 16, arraylist is empty. It is trying to return as a false here. Now what you observe carefully here, what you need to understand here, whenever we are giving the existing index location, whenever we are giving this particular existing index location, what happens internally? It will try to replace the original value with the latest value here. Whatever the previous value we are having, the previous value, now it is going to be replaced with the latest value here. So this is, we need to understand very carefully here. Okay. So this is all about the important section about this particular add method. Earlier we discussed about this particular add method. So this add method does not contain any what we can call it as a index location here. Okay. So this is what we need to understand here. Okay. So we'll see how this particular remaining methods are going to be implemented here. Before going to discuss about the remaining method, any questions regarding the add method and as well as the one more add method which is expecting 2 parameters? Okay. Now, if we don't have anything, now what we will do, what are the important methods we are having? Now, can you go to this particular collection.txt? What is the method we discuss as of now? So, the first method, this method is coming from the collection interface we discussed here. The second method, which is coming from this particular list interface. So, what is the another method here? This is the line number 33. Whatever the line number 33 we are having, the add method we discussed, which is expecting into index and element here. Now we need to understand the add all method. So this is the add all method. So before discussing about this particular add all method, now we need to discuss about this is the add all method. Okay. Now it's a simple one. Now let me observe this particular same here. Now here array list dot add all I'm calling. Now this is the add all which is coming from the collection interface. Now what about the second method which is coming from the list interface? Now first we'll discuss about the collection related method. Now here what is the object is expecting? It is expecting collection related collection interface related object here. Now what you can understand here, collection interface related object is nothing but collection is one of the super interface here. Okay, collection is one of the super interface here. Now what you need to understand here, so whenever we are providing the super interface type, we can access the all the subclass related types here. Okay. Now because of this, what I'm doing here I'm trying to access the list dot off here. Now here now what I'm doing here, 4 5 6 one object I'm passing, and the second one is 3 6 5 I'm passing, and here if we observe now 1 4 2 one more object. So currently I'm passing three objects. Now what you can understand here, these are the three objects we are having. Okay, so these are the three objects. Now if you observe, I'm passing multiple objects here. Getting the point? Here I'm passing multiple objects. Now earlier, how many objects I passed here? Single object. So here if you see, this is method is expecting only single object, but here these are the index row. After the index position, now we are providing only one object. But here this add all, now it is expecting multiple values. Now whenever we are providing the multiple values, so how it is going to be implemented here? Now what you can understand here I'm trying to comment out this because we already discussed about this particular index related stuff here, or we'll keep as it is, we'll discuss later this also. Okay, now let me run this. Okay, I'm trying to run in the debug mode so that we can understand how this particular add all method is now it is going to implement it. So far we discussed about the add method. Now it's time to discuss about the add all. Now if you see this, so this is a list related method we are calling to insert the multiple values. Now one more method I'm calling add all. Okay, so add all method we are calling now collection as a parameter. Now what is the size we are having currently? 3. So 4 5 6 3 6 5 1 4 2. So these are the values we are trying to inserting multiple values. Now if you see carefully what we are doing, whenever we are calling c dot to array, c dot to array. Now what happens internally? If you see, so this is giving the position 0 1 2. Now here also it will give you the same here. Now whenever I'm calling object like a c dot to array, it will give you the object array. Internally it is same 0 1 and 2. Now object array basically what it will give you, it will give you the index number with the original value, index number value. Okay, now after this what you can identify, number new length. So what is the length we are having currently? 3. Okay, so a dot length, a dot length. So where we are having this particular here, this is the object array. So just now we converted the collection values into object array. Now after that we are calling this particular length variable to find out the how many elements we are having currently under this particular object array. Okay, after this we are checking. So if this particular number is the new length is 0, we are returning false. But currently we are having 3 records. Now if you see this, what we are doing is we are trying to check. Now this number, okay, the newly created length should be greater than this particular the old capacity. So then what happens internally? It will go for this particular method. It will call the grow method. But we'll see what exactly it will do. What is the current size we are having? 3. The 3, it is going to store into this particular S variable. Now, S variable, how much we are having? S is equals to 3. Now, what about this? This dot element data. Now, we are setting into this particular element data. Now, this dot element, currently how many records we are having? 3, because using the add method we inserted 3 records here. If you see carefully, now if you observe carefully, so now if I'm trying to load these values, this dot element data, here you can see 0, 1, 9 to 2, something like 3 values we are having. Okay, 3 values we are having XYZ 1, 2, 3 and ABC. After this, the XYZ ABC 1, 2, 3, it will go to this particular element data. After this, what I'm doing, I'm trying to load the length. Now, what is the length we'll get? Basically 3. Okay, so 3 minus S. S also we are having 3 only. Now here if you see, this is a 3 greater than 0. Finally, we'll get this particular result here. Now whenever we are doing this, now what happens internally? It will satisfy this particular condition. Now if you see, what happens basically? Now if you see, yes, we are having 3. Okay, element data also we are having 3. Okay, after this, so this particular condition 3. After this particular condition, we are having 3. It is not satisfied this particular entire section. Now here you can see, so result is false. The result we are getting as a false here. Now whenever we are getting false here, it is coming back to this particular array dot copy here. Now what you can identify, what is A here? It is an object array we are having. Now source position we are having 0, and this is the destination element data. Now it is going to start from this particular index location. Now which index location we are copying? From the third index location, because in the 192 already we are having, so 0, 192 we are having records. From the third index onwards, it is going to copy here. Now how many objects are going to copy? In this particular A. So what is A? It is an object array. Now what you can understand? It is a source object array. Now what is the element data? It is a destination object array. Now what you will understand here, from the source object array, now we'll copy all the element into this particular destination here. We'll copy into destination. So this is what we need to understand here. Okay. Now after this, what we can do, after copying this particular system.array copy, we'll try to do the element data. Now you can see 0, 1, 2, we have existing records. Now 3 and 4 and 5. So what we did, with help of this particular add all method, now we inserted this particular records here. Now what you understand here? So how the add all method is functioning internally? Simply it is trying to converting into the object array whatever the value we are going to provide. Once we converted, now using system.array copy. Now based on the source node into destination node, we are trying to copy all the elements here. Okay. Now after this, how the size is increasing? Earlier the size is 3. Now what is the new size is 3. So totally 6 here. Okay. So this is what we need to understand here. Now this is all about the add all method, how it is implemented internally. But this add all method, as of now, it is not going to take any the index related parameter, because this is the method which is coming from the collection interface. This method is not coming from the list interface. Okay. So this is very important concept we need to understand here. So it's a simple, based on the parameter, like based on the collection of object what we provided. Now what is doing internally? It is converting into object array. Once it is converted, now based on that, it is trying to copy source node into destination node here. Okay. This is what we need to understand. Now what happens? For example, here if I'm going to provide 4 here. So this is the second method. This is the second method. Now if you see this method we discussed just now. Now I'm trying to discuss about this is the method. Boolean, idle. Here I'm trying to providing the index position. Now after this is the collection here. So how I'm trying to providing it? Now here if you see the index position I'm giving as a 4. Now this is the list of objects here, collection of objects here. So same object, but what only the difference here, index I'm providing here. Now if you observe carefully, how this particular index is going to be play an important role here. Now coming back to here, now add method. So these are the three add method we discuss here. Now this is the add all method we need to discuss here. Now list of method I'm calling. Now I'm going back to here. So finally I'm calling the add all method. Now if you observe carefully, whenever we are providing index related parameter, what happening internally? It is checking the index, the whatever the proper index we are providing, it should be available within this particular range or not. It is going to check this particular values here. Okay, it is going to check this particular values. Now if you observe carefully, so range check index. Now what is doing it? Now whatever the index we provided 4, but what is the size we are having? Currently 3. Now what you need to understand here? What you need to understand basically here? Here, whenever we want to insert this particular value, so it should be satisfied with the size here. It should satisfy with this particular size here. Now currently size we are having 3, but index we are having 4. Now what happens internally? So this condition is satisfied. Now we are going to get an exception. Now if you see this, so we are trying to get an exception. Now if you see this, so exception in thread call main java.lang.index out of bound exception. The size we are having 3, but index we given as a 4. So this is the outside of the size. Okay, this is something like outside of this particular size we provided. Now because of this, what happening internally? We are getting an exception. Now what you need to understand is, whenever we are trying to work with the index related, okay, whenever we want to work with the index related, what you can do? You need to provide the proper size here, so that the elements are going to be inserted here. Okay, the elements are going to be inserted here. So this is what we need to understand here. Now go to this, in place of this particular 4, what you can do here, if you call size here, this particular size here. Now what is the size we can call here? Now something like array list dot size. Now carefully observe. Earlier I given as a 0, 1, 1, but here now what I am doing is I am giving array list dot size here. Now currently what is the size we are having? 3. Now 3 greater than 3. Condition will not satisfy. Okay. Now if you observe, again I am calling the same add method. So size. Currently what is the size? 3. Okay. So size is returning. The second method, list of method. Okay. Finally I am calling add all method. Now here you can see index we are passing 3. So size of elements also, the newly created size of elements also we are having 3. Now range check. Now you can see both condition now returning false. Both conditions now returning false here. So this is what we need to understand here. Okay. Now here, if you observe carefully, what you need to understand, a dot length. What is the length? Something like new length, 3 only. Now the same code. So this is also same code we implemented under the add all method. But only the difference here, it is playing a index here. From the beginning index, it will try to copy all the elements here. Now if you, what I'm doing here, so first I'm converting object array. Later I'm trying to check the newly created the capacity, length here. After this, yeah, I'm checking this. So this is also will return false condition, because the same condition, whatever the condition we observe in the add all method, which is not expecting the index related. Now same method I'm doing here. After this, S minus index. So index we are having 3. What is the S? What is the S? S is something like a size here. Okay. S something like a size. Now what happening? What is the newly moved size is 0. Now what happening basically, if this particular section of code condition satisfied, we are doing this particular system dot array copy. Otherwise, here we'll go for this particular array copy. Now if you see here element data. Okay, element data, index we are providing, element data, again index. Index plus new number. Index plus new number. Now what you are understanding is, here we are doing the destination position. We are trying to increasing the destination position. But here if you observe, so this is a object array. Now source position we need to copy from 0, and this is the destination object array. Now it will try to start from this particular index here. But how many elements we are going to copy? These are the elements we are going to copy. Okay, so this particular section of code is going to same, but only the difference here, whenever we are trying to work with this particular index related, now the index is based on this particular index, it will try to insert the element here. Now if you see, this index is coming as a parameter. This is the parameter directly I'm providing it, so that from this particular indexes here, okay, it will try to copy. Now how many object array we are having currently? So this is the newly created object array. Now this is the initially we created. So the size we are like the capacity we are having 0 to 19. 0 to 19. It is become 20 here. But what about this? So 0 to 2 only here, because we are having only 3 objects. So 0, 1 and 2. Okay, 0, 1 and 2 here. So these are the 3 records. Now here if you observe, so these 3 records, now I'm trying to copy, like I'm trying to insert into this particular original array list here, but here I'm trying to provide the position. This position is going to play an important role. Now if you see, this is the index we are having. This index I'm giving as a method parameter. Okay, this index now I'm trying to giving as a method parameter here. This is what we need to understand here. Okay, this is what we need to understand here. Now it is going to copy from the 3 index location. So 0, 1 and 2 we are having, and from this particular 3 index location it will copy the 3 records here. So these 3 records are going to be inserted as a new records here. Okay, so this is what we need to understand here. So when we are providing the index, the based on the index it will try to insert the record, but the index should available within the size. If it is a greater than the size, now you will get an exception here. Okay, so for example, now this is copied and it is returning. Now if you print these values, okay, the size is returning 6 here and the values we are having here. Now let me go to this particular test here, and after the size, what I'm trying to print here I'm trying to print this particular array list here. Now whenever I'm trying to print this particular array list here, so it is going to print the 6 records. Now you can see X, Y, Z, 1, 2, 3, ABC. These are the 3 values. So we inserted like this. Okay, we inserted like this here. Now what you need to understand here, here 4, 5, 6, 3, 6, 5, 1, 4, 2. Now these are the values. Now from this particular 3 index onwards, it is inserted. Now carefully observe here, I am trying to print this, but now in place of this particular size minus 1, I am doing the size minus 1. Now same example I am running here. Now observe carefully, XYZ 1, 2, 3. Okay, XYZ 1, 2, 3. Now XYZ 1, 2, 3. After this, what is the value we have earlier? ABC. But current value 4, 5, 6. Current value 4, 5, 6. But earlier we are having, what is the value we have here? What is the value basically? ABC. Currently we are having 4, 5, 6. Why the values now change the position? Why the value now change the position? Because here the size, like the index I decrease here. The index value. Earlier I given as a index 3, but current example I given as a 2. Okay. So size we are having 3. 3 minus 1, that is become 2. Okay. So from this particular 2, it will copy these are the values. Now if you see, so 0, okay, and 1 and 2. So from 2, it will copy all the values. How many values we are trying to inserting? 3 values. Now 2, 3 and up to 4. After this, whatever the ABC we have, so now the ABC replace this particular location. Now this particular ABC, it is replace this particular location here. Okay. Yet initially this ABC, it is had in the 3 index location, but currently now it is having in the 5th index location here. So how this position is changed for this particular object here? How it is changed? Now again we need to go for this particular same array list method. Okay. We'll see how this particular current example is implemented here with the help of this particular size minus 1. So something like 2 here. Okay, now if you see size method I'm calling, size we are having 3. Now we are doing the minus 1, that is become 2 here. So this is the list of method I'm calling. Now after this I'm calling the add all. Now you can see index is, what is the index number I'm giving? 2. Okay, now from index 2 onwards, try to insert this particular 3 records I'm saying here. Okay. Now if you see range check, so range check also will satisfy because size we are having 3. Okay, the index we given as a 2, so it is a less value only. Now after this converting object array, length we are checking. The new length we are having 3. After this, so this is all about the size related condition we are checking. So that is not satisfying here. Now coming back to you. Okay, so new mode. If we observe carefully, earlier this condition is not satisfied, but now this particular condition is satisfying. Whatever I am highlighting here, the particular condition is satisfying here. So this is what we need to understand here. Now observe carefully, index 2, so size S is 3, so that now we got 1. Now this is the 1 if it is a greater than 0. If it is a greater than 0, now what we are doing is, we are calling this particular array.copy of method element data. Element data. Now what you need to understand is element data. So x, y, z, sorry, 0, 1, 2 we are having. Now this is a indexer. So these two basically what you need to understand here, source, no, like a source array and a source position. Okay. Now what you can identify here, basically this is what we need to understand, source array, and it is going to start from this particular index location called 2 here. Now after this, element data and destination position. Okay, element data is nothing but destination array and which position onwards we need to copy here. So now what you are understanding, the same value, okay, the same array value, now I'm trying to reinserting into the same element data. So carefully observe how this particular section of code is going to be implemented internally. Currently, what is the index we are having? Currently, what is the index we are having? 2. So 2 plus 1, 3. So from the 3 index onwards, it will try to copy this particular original object here. Now you can see after coming out this. Now here you can see element data, how many we are having? 0, 1, 2 and 5. Okay. So 0, 1, 2 and 5. Now how we are getting this? Okay. So this is very important, we need to understand here. Basically, now if you observe, so this is the element data. Okay. This is the element data we are having. In the element data, how many we are having here? Only we are having 3. Okay. Now if you observe carefully, if you go to here, XYZ we are having. Okay. Now in the first index location 1, 2, 3 and the last index location ABC. Okay, these are the values. Now coming back to here, index here. Currently index how much here? 2. 0, 1, 2. 0, 1, 2. Okay. Now what about this one? Now what about this one? So this is will have a some little bit bigger. Why it is going to have little bit bigger? Because here it is having the original copy along with the capacity also. Now what I'm doing here 0, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4 as well as 5. Now what you need to understand here, this is we'll treat as a source and this element data will have a destination. Now this is the source array and this is the destination. Okay, now under this, now from the source, what is the index onwards we are trying to copy? What is the index? 2. Now from in the destination, which index we are trying to start here? 3. Like index is 2, index plus new number, something like 3. Now, so this is going to copy. Okay, this is going to copy from this particular index location, from this particular third index location. Now, what you need to understand here. So this particular second value, it will insert here. Okay, it will insert here. Now, what about this particular fifth index location? How we are having? Now, how many elements we want to insert here? Only one element. Only one element here. So this is what we are doing here. Now, if we observe carefully here, if I show you this particular element data, so 0, 1, 2 as well as 5 we are having. Now, what you need to understand here, now here 0 XYZ we are having and 1 already 1, 2, 3 we are having. In the 2 already we are having ABC. Okay. Now, so what is the fifth index location? So 3 and 4 we did not get it. But why we did not get it here? Now if you see this index and this index, how much we are having totally? So totally 5. In the 5 index location, what we are trying to copy here? The second related whatever we are having here. So something like this is a ABC I'm copying here. Now these two, what happens here? These two, when it is going to insert here, whenever we are doing this particular array dot copy, the line number 749, whatever the array dot copy we are having, now it is going to be inserted here. Okay, so to understand here, now I'm going to re-execute this so that we'll clearly understand here how this particular objects are going to be inserted. Now you can see 0, 1, 2 and 3, 4, 5. Okay, so let's see what I will try to explain one more time here. Now, so that we can easily understand here how this particular size minus 1, whenever we are doing the size minus 1, how these objects are changing their position. Changing their positions here. So, size method and list of method. Finally, add all method. Now, I'm checking range checking here. So, coming back to here. Now, this is the object array. Okay. Now, if you see, what you need to understand basically here, you need to understand here the A related array. Okay, the A related array. So what is the A related array we are having? This is something like an object array. Now if I show you 4, 5, 6, 3, 6, 5, 1, 4, 2. Now 4, 5, 6, 3, 6, 5, something like some value. Now 0, 1, 2. This is the object array. Now this is the identifier. Now carefully observe here this element data. This is important here. Now this element data, how I'm trying to create here. this is also will have a bigger, because capacity we are having 20 here. Capacity we are having 20, but currently how many values we are having? Now this is important here. Currently how many values we are having? Now if you see this, 0 1 2. Okay, so 0 1 2. So in the 0 position XYZ, 1 position 1 2 3, in the second position ABC. So now if you see something like XYZ 1 2 3 and ABC, this is completed. Now one more element data. One more element data. Now why I'm providing this one more element data here? Because this will work as a source node, sorry, source array. Now this will work as a destination array. But here also we'll have a same values. Okay. Now in the 0 position, XYZ 1 2 3 and ABC. Both are having, because reference name is same. Here also we are doing the same element data, and above also we are doing the same element data. But here if you observe how this array copy will do here. Now if I show you this array copy description, now what exactly it is doing is, so source, SRC is nothing but source. Now source POS, what you are understanding? Source position. Okay. Now what about this one? Destination object and destination position and length here. Okay, length. Now what you need to understand length here, it will try to copy how many elements here. Now here you can see source position plus length is greater than the source. Length is length of, I want to provide the length here. Length, if you see here, what is saying the number of array elements to be copied here. The last parameter, how many elements we want to copy, so that is going to provide the information here. So the source array and destination array, so starting position in the source array, from the which position we want to copy. Now starting position in the destination data. Now what you understand here, how many parameters we are having? The first one is source array, source position, destination array, destination position and length here. Now we observe. Now first two, this first two source related. This source information, now we are copying into this destination. We are copying into destination. Now observe carefully, source index. Okay, from the second index onwards. So this value. From the second index onwards, you can copy the value. But in the destination, from which index onwards, we want to paste it here. So something like 3 here. Index plus number. Something like 3 here. Because the new number we are having, sorry. The new number, what is we are having? Now if you see here, 3 here. New number is 3. Now index is 2. Totally how much we are having? Total how much we are having? If I do this particular calculation, what is the value? Value it is trying to return here? 5 returning. So why it is returning 5 here? Because here index is a number to be given. The new size we are having 3. Totally 5 here. Now what you understand here? So from the second location, okay, in the source node, from the second element, copy. But from the which index onwards we are starting it? In the destination array, that is called fifth. That is called fifth here. So it is going to start the fifth element as a ABC. But how many we are having? Only one element. Now the one element we copy here into destination. So from the source, the value, the second index location value, whatever we are having, now I copy and pasted in the fifth index location. So after this, now I'm trying to inserting this the object array related. This is the values we given here. Now in the second index location, it is going to be replaced with 4 5 6. Okay. Now 3 5 6 and 1 4 2 and the fifth one is ABC. Now so we understand here how this particular position is changing here. How this particular position is changing here. So this is very important here whenever we are trying to work with add all method, which is expecting with the index here. Okay, so this is all about the important section here. Now if I show you this element data here, 0 to 5, 0 to 5. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now whatever the ABC we are showing in the fifth index location, now it is matching with this particular same value. Now after this we are increasing the size here. So size become 6 here. Okay, this is all about the important concept we need to understand regarding this particular add all method. Now any questions? So any questions regarding this particular add all method? So two methods we discussed here. Okay. Now, if we don't have here, so once we complete this particular add all method, now what is the another important concept we need to understand here? Now, if I go to, so add method we observe, add all method we observe. Now we need to discuss about the remove method. How this particular remove method. Now here, what you need to understand, if the proper element is removed, now we need to decrease the size also. Okay, how we are going to decrease this particular size section. So first we need to discuss about the collection related remove method, because the collection related remove method, it is trying to return the boolean value. It is trying to return the boolean value. Now observe here, after inserting this particular all the values, now here I'm trying to call the remove method. How we can call here? Array list dot remove method. Now we need to provide the object as a parameter. Now which value we are trying to removing here? So something like whatever this particular 142 we provided here. Whatever this particular 142 we provided, now we need to remove this particular object here. Now carefully observe how it is going to be implemented. I'm putting a breakpoint line number 17 so that we can debug this particular application here. Okay, now come here, remove method we are calling. Now I'm moving. So how this remove method is implemented internally? So first, what I am doing here? First, how many elements we are having in this particular array list? I'm trying to load all the elements first. I'm trying to load all the elements here. Now, here if you see, this is the ES here. Okay, 0 to 5 we are having. 0 to 5 we are having. Currently, these are the element we inserted. Now, what is the size? Size we are getting as a 6 here. Now, after this, now what we are doing here? Found here. Okay, so we discuss here, it's like a go to statement here. In the previous related concepts here, we already identified how this particular go to statement is going to be implemented internally. Okay, now if the object is null, this particular section of code is going to execute. But as of now, whatever the parameter we provided, it is not a null. It is a some number we given. Now we'll see how it is going to check. Now if you observe carefully, so size here. What is the size we are having? 6. Okay. Now here, what I am doing here, I'm trying to check this. I'm trying to find out the current object is available or not first. Okay. The current object is available or not. Now how I'm trying to check here? Using this particular equals method, I'm trying to find out this particular given object is available or not. First iteration, it is not found. Second iteration, it is not found. So third iteration, it is not found. Fourth iteration, it is not found. In the fifth iteration, now it is found. Okay. So once it is found, what we are doing here? We are doing the break here. Okay. Whenever we are doing the break, this particular for loop is going to be stopped here. Now we'll come out of this. Okay. We'll come out of this particular section here. Now you can see fast remove. Now what I'm doing here, I'm trying to remove this particular fast remove. Now what you observe carefully here, What is the ES? What is this particular ES? Now here we are doing the object array. Okay, this is something like a object array. Now here the position 4, index location we are getting as a 4. How we are getting index location 4 here? Okay, how we are getting this particular index location as a 4? Because here this loop is giving the index location. When the object is found, now we are trying to return, like we are trying to find out this particular I value. This I value now will play as a index role here. Okay, here if you see, I'm providing the I value. I value currently now 4. Now if you see under this particular ES, if you observe under this particular ES, 4 we are having the whatever the parameter we given here. Okay, now observe carefully. I'm going inside this particular fast remove. Now it's a simple method. Now what you can do, new size. What is the new size? So as of now, size minus 1. Sizes we are having 6, minus 1 something like a 5. If the 5 is greater than this particular I. Okay, what we are doing is we are doing the copying. We are doing the copying. Again, this is very important here. The array copy, it is going to play an important role here. From this particular array list here, the array copy is very important concept here. Because from the source array, destination array, based on the index location, it is going to copy. Okay. Now condition is satisfying true. Now it is doing the this particular array copy. After this, now what you can identify? If you see this particular ES, how many we are having? 0, 5. 0 to 5. But here, in place of this particular 4, earlier the fourth index, in the fourth index, what is the value we had basically? Something like a 142. But currently, what is the value we are having? ABC. Now, the value is replaced here. Getting the point? The value now replaced here. So this is very important we need to understand here. So now here you can see, now here size is equals to new size. Size is equals to new size. Now what you are understanding basically, what is the new size we are having? 5. In the size also we are doing the same, but in the fifth index location, we are initializing as a null value. So this is very important because here the right side value, it is going to insert into this particular left side variable. Okay, this is what we need to understand here. This is what we need to understand here. Now, how this particular section of code is going to be implemented here. Now, what you need to understand here, based on this particular size is going to be override with the newly created size. The fifth index location is now replaced with the null value. Okay, if I show you this particular ES, now here you can see 0 to 4 only. Earlier we observed fifth related stuff. Now, currently we could not observe here because we are initializing null value. Whenever we are initializing null value, so those indexes are not going to be shown here. Okay. Now, as of now, the size we are having only 5 here. So size we are having 5 and these are the elements. Okay. Here, whatever this particular 142 we inserted here, now the 142 value, it is no longer available. It is no longer available. This is what we need to understand here. Okay. These are about the important section about the remove method. Any questions? Okay. Now, if you don't have, now what I will do, one more remove method. So one more remove method. Now here, so we need to provide the proper position. Now if you go to here, so this is the remove method we discussed from this particular collection interface. Now here we are having one more remove method. Here you can see, here if you observe, here we are not passing a object here, but we are passing here index here. Getting the pen? Here directly we are passing index here. Now what you can observe carefully here, what we can observe carefully here, now whenever we are giving the index, from the index, the value it is going to be removed. From this particular index, the value it is going to be removed here. Okay. So for example, now I am copying this particular index location. Now how we can identify how this particular object is having. Let me run one time here so that I can identify what is the position of this particular object here. Okay, so 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 4 we are having. Now if you see, the same here I'm trying to give. Now I'm trying to give, only 4 here. So carefully observe. Now this time also we'll try to debug this application so that we can easily understand the collection related remove method as well as list interface related remove method, how we are having the differences here. Now you can see add all method I'm calling. Now finally I reach to the remove method. Now I'm calling this particular the remove method. Now what we are doing here? Now again here we are trying to check this particular index here. The given index is available within this particular size or not. Okay, so this is what we need to understand. Index, how much we are having? 4. What about this particular size? We are having 6. Now here, what you can identify, basically here, so check index here, it is going to check the particular index is within the range of the size here. Now that should be available. Okay, finally, I am loading this particular element data. Now if you observe that the difference between index like remove method which is expecting index as a parameter and remove method which is expecting object as a parameter. Basically here what you can observe, directly we are providing the index so that no need to find out the object is available under the which index location is available under this particular which index location. Okay, but here, so directly we are calling the fast remove method. It will try to remove based on this particular index. But why I'm doing this particular 530 so 530 line number here? What we are doing is here based on the index. Now I'm loading the old value. Because here this old value we can observe, we can return from this particular remove method. This remove method, it is trying to return the old value. Whatever the value we are trying to remove from this particular array list, the value it is going to remove here. The value it is going to be returned here. So this is what this particular line is saying here. Okay, based on this particular object array, we are loading the value. Now we are keeping as a old value. The old value we are trying to return so that we can observe based on this particular index location, what is the value it is removed. Okay, what is the value it is removed here. So this is what we need to understand here. Now after this, if I'm trying to print this, now XYZ 123 365 ABC, the 142 related, the 142 related value, now it is no longer available. So what is the main advantage we are going to get whenever we are providing? So here we don't have the proper condition here. The object is available which index location. So this type of conditions we are not going to be checked. Now under this particular remove method, first we are checking once object is available. Now we are find out the index location. Based on the index location, we are trying to removing object. But what about this particular remove method? We are not comparing any object. Okay, simply we are loading the old value. Now directly we are calling the fast remove based on the index location. Okay, this is the differences between the two remove method, which is coming from the one is coming from the collection, second one is coming from this particular list interface here. Okay, so still any questions? Okay, now if you don't have anything, I'm stopping the session up here. We'll continue tomorrow the remaining method. So far, whatever the remaining method we are having, we need to identify here. So we have a few more method under the collection interface as well as under this particular list interface. So we'll continue tomorrow one by one here. Okay. So still any questions, anyone? Okay. If you don't have anything, so I'm stopping and we'll continue tomorrow.